Hi, everybody. How are you? Chodesh Tov. It's now the month of Elul. Chodesh Elul. 1 month left to go to Yom Hadin until we get to the great day of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, the days of judgment. And we've been talking about since we started this series during the 3 weeks that we need to start preparing ourselves for these days. And we talked about how there's like this progression of skills that we have to learn. We need to do the Sur Me'Rava Aseh Tov, the 1-2 punch, to be able to stand up to the Yetzer Hara. And we've grown. And we realized until we got to Parshat Akev that we have to take it one step at a time. We have to learn how to march. We learn how to have a ketzef. We have to have some sort of a groove that just begins to start building this inertia. And then last week in Parshat Re'eh, we talked about brachot and klalot, blessings and curses, and the curses are not necessarily really curses. They're also designed to help you develop skills. And we talked about how important it is to hone your unique skill set and join in a unit, in a pluga, and everyone plays a role and everyone takes care of each other, and that together as a group, we begin to be ready for the big battle. And we learn in these parshios leading up to Rosh Hashanah that, and this notion of battle and wartime and changing and fighting is something that's so ingrained in these parshios, and it's something that if you're really preparing yourself, you're feeling a battle. And we started saying on Chodesh Elul this month a very special Tehillim from David HaMelech, from King David. We say it at the end of davening, LeDavid Hashem Ori V'Yishi. And in there, of all places, what do we say? Im tachaneh alai milchama, if a war or a battle comes upon me, lo yira libi, I won't be afraid. Im takum alai milchama, bezot ani boteach. If I am overcome by the enemy, this is what I believe in. Achat sha'alti me'es Hashem ota avakesh. I only ask one request of you, God. Shifti beveis Hashem kol yemei chayai. Let me spend my lifetime in your splendor and in your house. Now, when we get to Parsha Shoftim, which is this week's Parsha, we're going to see these themes begin to come together and crystallize in a very, very exciting and unified way, but also it's going to cover many, many facets. And if you notice in Perek Shishi, in the 6th section of Shoftim, we actually say a phrase that we're going to say at the beginning of next week's Parsha, which we'll talk about more. Ki tetzeh la milchama al oivecha, v'ra'ita sus v'rechav i'am rav mimecha. If you happen to go to battle and you see horses and chariots and a nation or an adversary that is so much stronger than you, lo tira mihem. We're told in this week's Parsha, just like what we just read in Tehillim from David HaMelech, that we shouldn't be afraid. Ki Hashem Elokecha imach hamalcha me'eretz Yitzrayim. Because God is with you. He is the one who took you out of Egypt. And let's not forget, we were at the 49th level of Tumah. We were at the lowest possible level of impurity that was out there. And from that, we climbed and climbed and climbed until we were worthy of getting the 10 Commandments at Har Sinai. And what came after us? Well, we finally got out of Egypt and we were standing on the banks of the Red Sea and it wouldn't open. What did we turn around and see? Sus v'rachvo Rama Vayam, right? It says that the horses and the chariots of Pharaoh drowned in the Red Sea. That when we have faith and when we take action and when we have positive inertia and positive momentum as this unit and we do this Sur Me'Rava Aseh Tov, God can split the sea for us. God will drown those horses and those chariots and we shouldn't be afraid. So how do we do that? How is that possible? And to answer that question, we need to go to the beginning of this week's portion, Shuftim. It says, Shuftim v'shotrim titem lecha b'chol sha'arecha. You should put judges and armed guards, shotrim, police, in all of your doorways and all of your sharecha, all of your gates. Asher Hashem Elokecha noten lecha lishvatecha v'shaftu et ha'am mishpat tzedek. Chazal point out here a very interesting thing. Shoftim b'shotrim titen lecha. It doesn't seem appropriate to use the word lecha, which is singular, as if it's talking to you. What do you mean put judges and police for you personally? You put judges and police in place in a community, in a city, in a country, to protect people and to judge people. Why then doesn't it say shotim shotim titen lachem, for you as a group? And the Tiva Shalom and others point out that what it's really talking about is that we have these gateways in our lives. And those gates, now is the time we need to check the locks on those gates. We need to check the hinges on the gates. We need to make sure that they're working. And what are the gateways? There are so many different gateways that lead to the human mind and to the human heart. And we need to guard them. And we've talked about these military analogies in the past. When you have a base and you want to protect the equipment and the armory that you have and the soldiers as they're resting, you need to set up a perimeter around the base. You need to protect the base. And it's not just one gate in front of the base. You have to set up exterior perimeters, and you have to have people out in the field that can get early warnings back to the base that someone's coming, that there is someone's going to attack. And the earlier warning you get, and the more prepared you are with these gates and these protective shields that you put around you, the better you will be to respond to it. And he points out, V'chein k'tav b'shlach, the Shlach HaKadosh writes, and in Od Sifrei Kadosh, another secret, Yesh Adam Kama Sha'arim, that a man has different gates to his mind. Shahar HaReot, he has his eyesight, it's a gate. Sha'ar HaShema, he has the ability, HaShomea, to listen, he hears things. Sha'ar HaReach, he smells things. Sha'ar HaDibur, his mouth, he puts things in his mouth, he speaks with his mouth. Sha'ar HaMisus, and he has the sense of touch. וצריך שיעשה אדם בעצמו דיין על כל ענייניו ויפקח עיניו. That a person has to put shields and gates and protective armor around these gates so that A, they don't become exposed to things that allow your enemy in. You do not want to fight a battle on your turf. You want to fight it on the enemy's turf. You do not want to let yourself be exposed and allow the enemy into your inner circle. And you have to be able to develop these things. And you have to create these guards. And when you know there's a weakness that you have, and you know what time of day or where you are or what you might be watching on TV or on the internet, or a conversation that you may be having with someone in particular that will get you to the point where you begin to start dancing with those lusts and desires and that negative feeling that you get, you need to guard them. And he goes on to say, the Tiva Shalom, that also Shabbos, the Sabbath, there's a guard for the entire week. Is that we work hard all 6 days, and it's on the seventh day, and on the Yom Tovim themselves, they act as gates to protect us. And that's what we learned from this week's Parsha. That's what we're beginning to delve into right now and what we say. And who was the first person in the world who got protected because he stood by God? Who is it? None other than Noah. Noah, Eila Todo Noach, each tzaddik haya b'dorotav. He was a tzaddik in his time. He was righteous in his time. Et ha'elokim hit halech Noach. Noach went with HaKadosh Baruch Hu with him along the way, and he put these guards around him, and then God ultimately saved him from the flood. Have a good Shabbos.